recording you just listened to was a composition called Say's Groove, written by Adrian Baker. This work was written by Baker for the subject of this presentation, classical saxophonist Dr. Seychelle Dunn-Corbin. In that layered recording, Dr. Corbin is performing on soprano, alto, and bari sax, and Baker is performing on piccolo and flute. Dr. Seychelle Dunn-Corbin is a classical saxophonist and an educator and performer in the Boston area. She is a founding member of both the Area 9 Saxophone Quartet and the North Star Duo. She is also a member of the Megalopolis Saxophone Orchestra. Dr. Dunn-Corbin teaches at Bunker Hill Community College and is the saxophone instructor at Salem State. Additionally, she is active as the scholarship chair for the local chapter of the Zeta Phi Beta Sorority 9 Incorporated, an organization that services the Black community, female veterans, and other communities in need. She serves as a mentor on the North American Saxophone Alliance's Committee on the Status of Women. As a classical saxophonist myself, it has been a delight to get to explore Dr. Corbin's career and work, and I look forward to sharing her story with you. A theme throughout Dr. Dunn-Corbin's career has been championing underrepresented voices in music, such as African American, female, indigenous, LGBTQ, etc. Both her ensembles have commissioned and performed a number of works from artists in these groups. Dr. Corbin is the alto saxophonist for Area 9 Saxophone Quartet, along with other members Sean Mix, John Rabinowitz, and Kyung-Yi Louie. Dr. Corbin remarks about how lucky she is to be in such an inclusive and supportive chamber group. Area 9 has a history of commissioning music and programming diverse and inclusive concerts. One of her favorite pieces that the group has commissioned is Castle in the Air by Michael Kosh. Dr. Corbin remarks that this piece was challenging and liberating, pushing them to the next level as an ensemble. Dr. Corbin is one half of the duo called North Star, along with flutist Adrian Baker. These two met through volunteer work. A large part of their mission is not only advocating for underrepresented groups in music, but also underrepresented instruments. Instead of commissioning works for strings or vocals or piano, they advocate for wind instruments and commission composers and artists from all sorts of communities. One of their current projects is the Women's Project, which features music composed and performed by women. Dr. Corbin considers it a personal mission to highlight, educate, and advocate for other musicians. Dr. Dunn-Corbin partially attributes her passion for advocating for underrepresented voices in music due to her unique education experience. She attended Morgan State in Baltimore, Maryland, which is an HBCU, or Historical Black College or University, for both her bachelor's and master's degrees. Before attending Morgan, it never occurred to her how she had never performed a work by a Black composer. Her first exposure to Black classical music was a march she played in the symphonic band at Morgan State by Black composer Alton Adams, who was the first Black Navy band director. The realization that Black voices are generally underrepresented in classical music caused her to shift her musical and academic focus. She then went on to earn a graduate diploma from Longy, studying classical saxophone under NEC's Kenneth Radnofsky, who encouraged her study of African American musicians. Finally, she earned a DMA in saxophone performance from Boston University. Throughout her educational career, Dr. Dunn-Corbin sought to tailor her studies around African American composers and performers. She aims to bring Black classical composers and musicians into common discussion and to change the current classical canon that is dominated by white musicians. Dr. Corbin is both a wife and a mother. When asked how this has had an impact on her musical career, she remarked about how supportive her partner was of her goals and how understanding he was of her time commitments. Her young son, however, has not always been so understanding. She shared some stories with me from the fall of 2019 about how her role as a mother was not acknowledged by her fellow musicians. People would assume she was busy with her son and not invite her to gigs. One job only gave her 24 hours notice to confirm if she could play. This is a problem because she needed more time than that to make arrangements for her child, but they would not wait. The music industry is not very forgiving of mothers and their often torn responsibilities. Despite the challenges of raising a child, Dr. Corbin has found creative ways to find time to practice and balance her life as a musician and a mother. When asked if she has experienced any triumphs despite the hardships she has faced, Dr. Corbin had this to say.
In terms of triumphs, I don't know if I feel like I have technically anything I would categorize as a triumph yet.
Sure.
I will say I just feel like I'm on a path of not just kind of like bringing forth voices that I feel like haven't been represented in saxophone, but also in the wind world and the classical music institution, which often forgets the amazing tradition of wind instruments in particular. But I do feel like I'm in a path to advocate not just for that, also for students who don't come from privileged lives. I did not come from a privileged childhood myself, and like going to grad school with no alto saxophone. And you're going to learn alto saxophone. I love being at a community college because I feel like that's where I'm starting to make these changes and to help students. So maybe this is a great question in like another 15 or 20 years where I can hopefully be like, yes, I've had some triumphs. Here's the changes that I've been able to either, just kind of put out there, implement whatever role it is that I play in that. So I will just say that, not yet. I don't have any triumphs yet, but I feel like I will.
I love this outlook. Personally, I believe she has already accomplished much towards her goal of advocacy and representation, but this is a very healthy outlook to have. I also asked her if she had any advice for young musicians trying to make their way in the world. She said that it is important to have the right support system of parents, teachers, and other women that share the same values. As women, we often forget to lean on each other, and instead focus so hard on the competition in this field. We forget to support each other in times of division, and we often don't see sister to sister. After all the fighting is done, we learn that none of us women have benefited from this system. This is a system we are trying to break down, which is hard to do when you're in it, because we are all still musicians. It's the simple idea of united we stand, divided we fall. You can find more information about Seychelle on her website, SeychelleDunn-Corbin.com. Additionally, North Star Duo is giving a live stream concert on May 27th as part of the Call for Scores for Women's Project. You can visit North Star's website for more details. North Star also has a podcast on their website, which they use as a platform for highlighting underrepresented communities. Finally, follow North Star and Area 9 on Facebook to keep up with upcoming performances and commission projects. In closing, Seychelle wanted me to add this. Is there anything else that you can think of off the top of your head that you want people to know about you or your work that hasn't been covered?
I would just probably like students to know that what they are looking at from your interview is just like a moment of the journey. I'll probably be on this journey until I leave this world. So, just kind of put that in perspective. I'm almost 36, and this is just a very small moment. Hopefully a very long journey.
You've still got a lot that you want to do, for sure.
And that's important when you're thinking about the work, right? It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Yes.
So.
I will end this presentation with an arrangement of Lift Every Voice and Sing, performed by North Star Duo.